give you a little introduction to who I am and what I'm doing here. So I'm Paul Moshka. I do beekeeping. I've been doing it for about probably maybe 11 years or so, 11 or 12 years. I also work over at Seeds at City. It's an urban farming program. We just started in June. It'll be 2 years ago over in this at City College. It's an urban farming program that is teaching people how to grow food in the urban setting, and it's all organic. And so that's my main interest right now is working with the urban farm. We're there 3 days a week: Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Tuesdays and Saturdays is open for anyone that is interested in coming by and seeing what we're doing. It's even open for people that can come and volunteer. And we do all kinds of gardening techniques that are for small-scale and intensive food production. And on Thursdays, we're closed. It's just for apprentices. We actually have an apprenticeship program, and we have about 6 apprentices that actually get paid to work at the farm and learn. It's a 12-week process. There's a fall course and a spring course. And we'll actually have a summer course too. It's a 10-week one that will be open. So I've been studying organic gardening for my whole life. I was going to say 25 years. It's been a lot longer than that. But part of the gardening and part of growing food, such a huge part, it's interrelated with the rest of life that's in the garden or in an ecosystem. And insects are a huge, they play a huge role in this whole dance of nature. And it's the more you get into it, the more you realize you can't just focus on one part of nature. You have to understand kind of the holistic view of it, microorganisms and insects and all the macroorganisms, everything that's living in the soil. Pollinators and all of our beneficial insects are something that has been kind of omitted from a lot of our teachings. Conventional farming, conventional gardening, which is kind of the mainstream way that we're taught. We just view insects as bugs, as pests, but really it's funny. We're conditioned just to notice the negative, and we're not conditioned to really look close enough and to learn the positives of so many things in nature, of all the microorganisms or all the insects or fungi. Typically, we look at these things as, the microorganisms, those are germs, right? We're just like washing them off of everything, and we don't understand that they're part of the whole system, and we need to. It's better to understand them than to have a knee-jerk reaction and to try to get rid of them. Same with insects. We just think that it's better for us to eliminate them than to understand them. Same with fungi. Fungi is across the board. People just think fungus is bad. It's a mold. It's a rotting thing. It's something that probably is an indicator of something bad. It's not. It's just that we don't quite. We haven't been taught all the roles that these things play, and we tend to just look at things in those terms. So, as I got into this type of organic gardening, I realized that you can't do organic gardening with just the plants and you and this sterile soil. It has to be you, the plants, the whole ecosystem, and it needs to be balanced together. And a big part of it are the pollinators and our insects and our beneficials. And I'm going to go over a little bit about native pollinators and beneficial insects. So I just wanted to kind of give you that introduction. That everything is connected to everything, and I'm really glad that you're here. Who does beekeeping here? One person? I do a little bit. Okay. Who actually wants to do beekeeping and have a beehive in their yard? That's great. Who has done some beekeeping? Who has actually had a veil on and had their hands like around bees? people here. Okay. People ask me sometimes, what is it like? Because I do a lot of bee rescue, and that can get pretty exciting. When there's a hive somewhere, and you're going to go in and take that hive out and put it into a box like this or something else, and move them to a new location, and it's a large hive. And people ask me, oh, is it scary? And sometimes it's, I think it's, especially the first couple times you do it, it's about the same as jumping out of a plane without a parachute. It's weird. And you're wondering, what am I doing here? There's like 60,000 stinging insects buzzing around you, and you're starting to really question your sanity at the beginning. But later on, you realize why people do beekeeping. Because you truly establish a connection with nature and with these insects, and you really start to appreciate them and have feelings for these insects, and it's a way to really connect with nature, and it really hooks you in on so many levels. So it's very worthwhile doing, and it's something that you'll it'll go across the whole range of emotions. Like you'll be very angry sometimes because you'll be stung, and then other times you'll be frustrated that you can't figure something out. Other times you'll be really sad because you'll lose a hive, and you've done everything, and you became really close to these insects. And so I just want to give you this little insight of what you might experience. So, and then you'll understand why people do this, because it's kind of different working with stinging insects. So, and the venom is pretty powerful. So I think I'm just going to go into a number of things. And this is kind of an introduction to this topic. And to really understand the nuts and bolts of beekeeping, you have to do it with somebody. You could build a beehive, you could order up some bees, or capture a swarm of bees somewhere, and you could do it yourself. If you were pretty good at just, animal behavior, because that's really the key thing, you have to understand the behavior of bees to really know what you're doing. But I wouldn't recommend just jumping into it without working with somebody for a little while, or with a few people. You could do that, but you're probably going to be discouraged, because it might be like this high-maintenance pet that you get, and then it dies on you, and then you may not want to try it again. So I think I would do it with other people, and it's like so many things. Crafts that people do, it really needs to be passed down from one person to another, or passed across. So I would really encourage people to work with other people, and because we've all got this conditioning that we need to be self-sustaining in the U.S., and that's impossible. We're self-sustaining if we're in a community of people, but we're not self-sustaining by ourselves. And it's kind of where we've been driven to think that we can be all self-sustaining on our own property, but with a community of people, we can be self-sustaining. Let me turn the light off. This one? Let me see. This is the best I can do. So it's called Beekeeping for the Intrepid. So you don't really have to enter into this thing with a lot of fear. If you protect yourself, you can go for a long, long time and not get stung at all. And but there's times where bees are so mellow you don't have to wear anything, and you'll encounter that. There's times where you can do certain things with bees, and you don't have to wear any protective clothing. Often, when it's a swarm of bees that's hanging somewhere, they're really mellow. They're at this state that you almost don't need anything. So you shouldn't enter it.